Hi guys, welcome to another video with me. My name is Beatrice Chow. Karibu sana. We're here filming the fourth episode of Surviving the Wilderness season. Guys, I'm sorry, there's just been a lot on my plate currently, so that's why I've not been filming. But we are here by the grace of God. So how do we survive? Like, if you're going through maybe a difficult season, how can you like overcome that period? My first point will be definitely obedience. I've talked about this on my YouTube. I have short about obedience, and I feel like obedience is something that we really take for granted, but it's very paramount in our lives. And I've said this before, like if you're not willing to be delayed obedience is also disobedience. And obedience can come in a lot of ways. Sometimes we don't even know how to discern the voice of God, so we don't know what voice to actually obey. And that's why you need to build your spirit, so that your spirit can discern for you and not your mind. And that's why we need to pray in tongues. So it starts with prayer, then discernment, because when you build your spirit man, it helps you with discernment. Then now knowing the right voice to be obedient to. And you just have to ask yourself, like, can God really ask me to do this? And reading the word really helps, because you start to know, okay, who God is. And there are things that God can tell you that to do, and there are things that God cannot ask you to do. God cannot ask you to go and commit murder, because that's not the nature of God. So when you read the word and know like the nature of God, so you start to build your discernment from there. You get an urge, maybe there is a word being spoken to you, so you start to ask yourself, is this the nature of God? Like, is this something that God can ask me to do? Yeah, so that's obedience for you. My next point is patience. Are you patient enough to wait for what God has promised you? Like, if we look at people in the Bible, like I've said this before. If you're not patient to wait for Isaac, you're going to give birth to Ishmael. And if we look at Ishmael's story and how it came about, after Ishmael was born, there was definitely a rivalry between Hannah and Haggai. So if you're not ready, if you're not patient enough, and this is actually me speaking to myself, because I'm a very impatient person, but I'm working on it currently. So if you're not willing to wait for like Isaac, and you give birth to Ishmael, it's going to come with consequences, of course. So we need to learn to be patient and to wait on God to like uphold His promises upon us, because God is faithful. If He says He's going to do something in your life, He's going to do it. You just need to be patient enough to wait for Him to do that thing. Okay. My third point is definitely prayer. I've said this, and I feel like we've all had this at some point in our lives. Prayer is a very powerful weapon. Sometimes we do take it for granted, but just saying like, God, thank you. And prayer can happen in like singing is praying twice. So you can worship, you can praise, you can just take your time to read the word, you can just take time alone and just be like, okay, God, I'm just here for you. Like just seclude yourself for maybe an hour or 2 hours and just be there with the Lord. If you have a particular room where you just go to pray with God, I feel like that's very like, it's because it's something, it's like going to church. So the church is just like an altar, so this is like your altar, where when you go to, it's like God is there. Yeah, so just spending time and be like, God, I'm not really asking for something, I'm just here to spend time with you. And maybe you'll get a prompt to open a verse in the Bible, maybe you'll get a prompt to call someone or to text someone. You just never know. There are different ways that God talks to you, and there are different ways that you can speak to God. Or just like I have this somewhere, like the highest form of sacrifice is thanksgiving. So are you even, sometimes we fast because we want things from the Lord, but I feel like we need to take time to just fast to hear from God and to even say thank you. Like, we are finalizing the year, like people have died on Christmas Day. Literally, we've lost lives on Christmas. And for me, like, I've seen it personally. Like, on Christmas I walked someone into the ward, and then, like, it wasn't even maybe 40 minutes later the guy is gone. And I was like, how can this even happen? Like, how did this even, like, it didn't look like someone who's going to pass in the next maybe an hour. And that goes to say, like, there's some wars that we can't stop with prayer. There's some things that Satan has just, like, hindered us. And I feel like it was Apostle Paul who said, like, we wanted to reach you but Satan hindered us. They wanted to preach the gospel to a certain place, but Satan hindered them. And there was actually an apostle who was killed. And then now the church started praying, and then the other one was released, because the second one was also going to be murdered. He was in prison, but the church, through prayer, this guy was saved. So that goes to say, like, how prayer is very powerful. And honestly, like, this whole book, this whole Bible is just full of how prayer is very powerful. And I need you to start praying. If at least you cannot pray for yourself, pray for your family, because you need. And we can see, oh my god, yeah, we were having a conversation with a certain family, my friend and her mom was like, talking to us about the story of Jabez, like how he prayed. And because initially his name meant like pain, and he prayed and he was like, God, remove this pain for me. And like, literally, he was, I don't know, he was, no, like, now Sasa God had his prayer, and he wasn't pain anymore. Like, Sasa good things started happening to him. That's the power of prayer, guys. Just saying thank you, just saying, like, God help me. And sometimes we like do specifics very much, and sometimes when we do specifics we forget other areas of my life. Like, let's say we pray for my family, right? But we forget that we have businesses. We pray for our business, we forget that we have a family that we have to pray about. So when you're praying, make sure you're covering everything in prayer. Like, you're not leaving anything out, because if you leave that thing out, that's how Satan gets in. It's through that open door that Satan is going to come in. Yeah, so prayer. And I feel like the next thing is definitely, I've just shot a video about this. Who do you have on your boat? It's definitely keeping a good, like, being intentional with the people around you. You need to have a good surrounding. We've been told this by our parents, but I've been told this by my parents, like, personally. And I was like, child, choose your friends wisely. But of course, things happen. Sometimes you want to do, I feel like it's just growing up, honestly. And yeah, it's very important to choose the people that are around you very wisely, because the thing is, sorry guys, there are lots of noises outside. The thing is, if you do not have Jonah in your boat, you're going to have Jesus. So you need to know, like, who do you have on your boat? Do you want Jonah in your boat, or do you want Jesus in your boat? So you have to be intentional with the people that you want in your surrounding. The next thing would definitely just know that God is able. That's it. Like, God is able to do more than we can ever imagine. It's written in the Bible. I think it's from Ephesians something. I'm going to insert the verse somewhere here. God is able to do far much more exceedingly than we can actually imagine. And so that's my prayer every day. Like, God is just able to do far much more, like, than I can ever imagine. So I hope this helped. If you're going through a difficult season right now, I really hope. And if you're going through this, I feel like fasting is it's something that fasting just moves. Like, we've seen people fasted in the Bible that, like, have moved mountains through fasting. Like, there's Esther, there's Daniel, and we've seen people who have practiced the Daniel fast and the Esther fast, and we've seen, like, what it has done for their lives. So if you're going through this difficult season, I feel like it's a point where you can fast and ask God, like, don't ask God to take it away from you, because maybe there's something that He's trying to teach you. Just ask God, okay, which direction do you want me to go to? And what do you need me to learn from this? And give me strength to go through this, okay? I feel like that's it from me, honestly. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart, guys. And yeah, I'll see you later, guys. Bye. And if this has helped you in any way, please make sure you like and subscribe, because it actually does something for the channel. Like, subscribe, share, do all those nice things, guys. Bye.